We are 69% complete with the year of 2025. Can you believe it? I can't. Today, I'm going to talk about what cards I've added to my 100 plus credit card collection so far in the year. What do my credit reports look like? I'll be sharing my stats on each of the three major bureaus after getting 100 plus credit cards in my lifetime. And finally, I'll be talking about the remainder of the year. What cards do I plan on acquiring and adding to this wonderful growing collection?
I'm Key, a credit card, points and miles enthusiast and travel lover. On my channel, I discuss the mistakes I've made, my future travel goals, and overall credit journey since 2016. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already.
So, starting things off with which cards I've obtained so far in 2025. I've obtained, on average, one card per month in September here. So, I've obtained 9 credit cards in 2025. Here they all are: the Fidelity Rewards Visa Signature, the Discover It, the Bank of America Customized Cash Card, the Apple Card, the Navy Federal Credit Union Flagship Rewards Card, aka the Amazon Prime Card, the Barclays A Advantage Aviator Red Card, the Barclays Hawaiian Airlines MasterCard, the Chase Southwest Rapid Rewards Card. At the time I applied, it was a $99 annual fee. The Chase IHG One Rewards Business Premier Credit Card. And those wrap up all of the cards that I've obtained in 2025. If you need any of these cards, be sure to check the description box down below, where I'll be sure to put my personalized referral links. Thank you in advance. On one of my previous videos titled, I applied for 6 credit cards in 6 days, I discussed my credit profile on a high level. Now that some time's passed, I did want to dive into what does my credit report look like in detail, just to show my statistics if you're looking to apply for some of the cards that I applied for thus far this year. As a way of housekeeping items before we get into my credit reports, I do keep all of my credit reports frozen until I am actively seeking credit. I have a full listing of all the things that I do regarding my credit report, and I'll link that video as well in the description above. Second housekeeping item: I set up automatic payments on all of my credit cards upon receiving them, except for Navy Federal, which that's a whole nother story. It's almost near impossible to set up automatic payments with Navy Federal, but that's okay. I'm over it, I think. Um, the only exception to this is when a credit card that I have, so such as right now, the Bank of America Customized Cash, that's on a 0% APR or 0% interest offer until late 2026 of next year. So I actually set up so I'm only paying the minimum amount each month until that promotional period is over. When that last month of that promotional period, that 0% interest hits, then I'll go ahead and pay whatever I owe at that time in full. But for the most part, 98% of my cards are on automatic payments, and they're automatically pulling from my checking account on the due dates. The reason I do this, I have over 40 to 50 active credit cards right now, and it's just really tough to manage which cards I would need to pay if I didn't have automatic payments set up. So, highly recommend, if that's something that you're able to do, set up those automatic payments so it's set it, forget it, and you don't have to worry about it or missing a payment or anything like that. Okay, let's get into these credit reports. All right, so starting with TransUnion, I have a current credit score of 725. I have no derogatory marks. I'm showing right now a 3% utilization, but again, keep in mind, I don't really track utilization because I am paying most of my credit cards in full, on time, on the due dates every single month, unless there's that promotional period. I have 10 hard inquiries and I have 58 total account. In my previous video, I talked about the credit cards that did recently pull TransUnion, but for the most part, that was Barclays Bank for me. Moving on to Equifax. Similar with TransUnion, I have no derogatory marks on this credit report as well. My current credit score is a 717. I'm showing a 4% utilization rate. I have 3 hard inquiries, which is the lowest on any of my credit reports, and I'm pretty pumped about it. If you know any credit card companies, banks, credit unions, etc., that pull from Equifax, please let me know down in the description box, so I can start to get more cards, for the end of this year. And then last but not least, I have 57 total accounts showing on Equifax. You may remember that Equifax was breached back in 2017. If you were impacted and you filled out the claim or the settlement portion, you would have gotten an email about a month ago at this time giving you your payout. I know some of my other creators got larger payouts than I did, but I got a whopping $4.20-ish cents for my payout there. So check your email. It comes as a virtual Visa gift card. I just loaded that to my American Express gift card, or excuse me, not American Express, my Amazon gift card balance, and I spent that money basically as soon as I got it. So check your email and make sure you get your settlement payment, even if it's just the $4 like I got. Okay. Last but not least, major credit bureaus we are going to be talking about is Experian. So I had to log into my account just to get the most recent stats, but my current credit score is a 758. I have 34 open accounts. My current credit usage is 53%. I have 15 inquiries. Woo! Man, 15 inquiries. I want to take a moment though to talk through my credit utilization on my Experian report because I don't know if I've mentioned this in the past. I don't have a traditional 30-year or 15-year mortgage or 25-year, whatever the normal standards are now. Instead, I actually have a first position HELOC on my home. You're seeing that reflected here on my Experian report. So I have a total credit limit, just holistically, of $765,000, but the mortgage is making up a majority of that usage. So just want to be honest and transparent that that's not a credit card balance or anything like that. It is my first position mortgage. Please let me know down in the comments if anyone would be interested in me talking more in detail, maybe a live stream or something quick about my first position mortgage and why I chose to do that versus a traditional 15, 25, 20 or 30-year mortgage. So wanted to just address that because I imagine people are going to automatically assume, I'm not practicing what I preach when I talk about paying my bills on time and in full. The only exceptions to that is obviously my mortgage. I wish I could pay that in full. The last thing that I was missing from talking about TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian is just my average age of accounts. And on each of my reports, it's slightly different, but I'm just under the 6-year mark on the average age of accounts. My oldest account is well over a decade old at this point, but that average age, because I'm constantly acquiring new cards and new credit lines and things like that, is way less than that. Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to give Experian a break. Most of the cards that I pulled from is, as you review that video that I talked about, applying for 6 credit cards in 6 days. Most of those unfortunately pulled from Experian. So I'm gonna have to give this one a break for a while, but we'll come back to this when I talk about the cards I want to obtain for the remainder of 2025. Okay, now that you know all of the information about my 3 major credit reports, I want to talk about one of my primary goals for the remainder of the year, outside of getting credit cards and outside of utilizing my points and miles, of course. And this is, I actually have an auto loan as well on my vehicle. And for the remainder of the year, I actually did get a new job at the beginning of the year. And with that, I now receive base salary as well as commissions. So for the remainder of the year, I'm going to put a majority of my commission amount towards paying down my auto loan, with hopefully paying that off about a year and a half early. So that's what I'll be doing for the remainder of the year and really focusing my attention on doing that. The reason I chose that is my auto loan is one of my largest payments that I make throughout my auto payment is the largest amount that leaves my account every single month. So I would love to have that extra, money. So let's just say my car payment's $1,000. I would love to have that $1,000 sitting in my first position HELOC every single month. So that way I'm getting charged way less interest and things like that than having to spend that money every single month for the car payment. So that's the reason I chose to tackle that debt and kind of attack it aggressively for the remainder of the year. All right, let's switch gears again. So you now know that I've obtained 9 credit cards in the 9 months we've already had here in 2025. This year, with that, I did surpass having over 100 credit cards in my lifetime, and I'm so pumped about it. I know I've been talking about it probably in every video, but I am really, really proud of myself for that, since I don't know many people that have had 100 credit cards in their lifetime, except for there's a viewer named Sean that I know has way more credit cards than I've ever had. So shout out to Sean on that. Now, even though I've averaged about 1 credit card per month in 2025, I need to start slowing my pace down, right? You now are aware that I have 15 inquiries on certain reports and just under a handful on others. So I need to start being more strategic as I look to acquire and add more credit lines into my portfolio. For the remainder of the year, there are some credit cards I would like to pick up. I'm still wrestling with the fact that maybe I should get a personal American Express Platinum card before the September 18th deadline and rumored changes to that credit card. And of course, right, higher annual fee. But other cards that I'm thinking about grabbing are the City Strata Premier card at a $95 annual fee. Since I am eligible for that card, once again, I've passed my 48 months of that card. The $0 fee Built card from Wells Fargo before that card switches over to a new bank, and perhaps some others, but those are the primary 3, the core 3 that I'm really considering for the end of 2025. So definitely, with 3 months remaining here in 2025, should I pick up 3 new cards? Who knows? But those are the 3 that are the top of my list. To round out this video, I've already talked through my credit strategy for the current portion of the year that's already transpired. What's next for the remaining 3-ish and a half months in 2025? And of course, my credit profile in general. I do want to dive in and talk about my portfolio bank by bank, and that's how we'll conclude this video today. So starting with Barclays Bank, my total credit limits over there are about $23,000. I have 4 credit cards with them, and the only change that's probably going to happen between now and the end of the year is that Barclays American Airlines red card, super long name, is ultimately going to move over from Barclays into Citi. So I'm really excited about that because sometimes Citi will allow you to product change any card that you have with them into other cards. So this could be a way for me to get the Citi Strata Premier or the Citi Strata Elite credit card that came out that I was unfortunately denied for, or, maybe it's just something else, right? Maybe a Costco card or otherwise. Ultimately, though, that's going to be the only change in my Barclays portfolio. American Express, I'm only going off the credit limit card, so I have a number of charge cards, but I have a total of 9 cards over there with credit limits just under $90,000. As far as things that I may change with American Express outside of getting an American Express Personal Platinum credit card, I may also cancel the Blue Business Plus credit card. This is a card I've had for way too long, and I'm going to continue my relationship with American Express for the foreseeable future. So until I can't see a relationship there, there's no reason for me to hold on to the Blue Business Plus credit card. I have, you know, a lot of other cards that are earning membership rewards points, and if and when I get to the time period that I'm looking to get rid of annual fees over at American Express, etc., then I'll obtain the Blue Business Plus credit card. And that card has a no annual fee, so ultimately, I don't even care if I get a sign up bonus when I go to reapply for that later on. Last but not least, not a priority for the remainder of 2025, but my Delta Sky Miles balance is very, very low. So another card I may look to acquire just to get my balances back up are the Delta Gold um, the Delta Gold credit card line, because I do like that they offer a no annual fee in year 1, so you can evaluate it and then decide if you're going to keep that card for year 2 and onwards. But ultimately, because I'm just kind of doing this for a points grab, it's great to not pay an annual fee for that. and then I could decide, and I will decide to cancel that card in year 2. Citibank. I have credit limits of just shy of $30,000. I have just 2 cards over there. Last year, I did a full video talking about my full portfolio of Citi cards and all of the changes I did. I'll go ahead and link that video above here as well. No real changes here outside of getting that Barclays card transferred into Citi. But I also held a legacy Citi Rewards Plus card. I've held this for, I don't know, many years at this point. I used to love this card. It's now a white Citi whatever card. I'm not sure what they're calling it at the time, so I'll have to look into that later. But whatever the card is, right? They've changed it from the Rewards Plus into a new Citi card that's all white. I actually still hold on to my 10% points rebate until July of 2026. So after that time frame, I may look to change my Legacy Rewards Plus card, whatever it is called today, into a custom cash card. And that's just because it's losing that points rebate and things like that. So that's probably the only change, but that's going to be something I talk about in 2026. Just wanted to get that on your radar. But ultimately, in January of 2026, I'll go ahead and move 100,000 points, Citi Thank You Rewards points, into an airline or hotel program. So that way I recoup that full 10% points rebate and put that to use. I've already completed that for 2025, but I'll do it one more time in 2026 because, man, I love cards with rebates and I love taking advantage of rebates. So I'll go ahead and get that done. Once I complete that, like I mentioned, I'll go ahead and product change to the Citi Customized Cash card, where I'll probably just keep it in my car for groceries. So every time I go to the grocery store, that will be my primary card over there. So I'm getting 5 points per dollar at grocery stores. Moving on, Wells Fargo. I have 2 credit cards over there and just under $40,000 of credit limit. No changes. I pretty much use my Wells Fargo autograph card, the $0 fee card, um, just for my electric vehicle charging. So it's automatically connected to my Tesla account. And every time I pull up to a supercharger, which is pretty infrequently, because I do have a charger at home here. But ultimately, anytime I'm on the road and things like that, that is the card that I get 3 points per dollar for all of my supercharging needs. I'm hoping that Wells Fargo will add some additional transfer partners, but so far, all of my transfers for Wells Fargo have gone into Choice, and I've transferred just under 100,000 Wells Fargo Go Rewards miles into Choice points. So that's been a really fun transfer for me. Last but not least here, I talked about Built, but perhaps I'll do a full video on Built. But I love being able to earn rewards even though I don't have the Built Rewards card today. This is a card I'll look to get, but unfortunately in Rhode Island, Wells Fargo pulls from Experian. So I am optimistic I'll get it, but with 15 inquiries on my credit report and not that many falling off by the end of the year, it's slim. It's maybe slim that I ultimately get approved for the Built card. I'm gonna combine Capital One and Discover here. I have 7 total cards, just under $40,000 of credit limit here. And the reason I lumped these together are because, there was a major acquisition. Highly recommend, folks go ahead and get a Discover card, especially if you're locked out of getting additional Capital One cards or haven't been able to get Capital One cards, because I'm optimistic that Capital One and Discover, they're going to allow you to change in between all the different products they have. I've done a video talking about the 600 million credit cards that Capital One offers, but ultimately, I am trying to get a Capital One Saver card. The reason I want that Saver Rewards card is because of the 3% back on entertainment. Y'all know I love going to races. I love going to baseball games, etc. So just having that back, football games, of course, go Patriots. But I love going to all the different sporting events and things like that. So getting 3% back on spending I know I'm doing all the time would be fantastic. Okay, last but not least is Chase. I've done videos on this, but I have just under $90,000 of credit limit over there across 9 credit cards. I am technically 12 and 24, and I'm not looking back. That the Chase train has left the station. I'm not looking to get any additional Chase cards here. There's rumors that the Apple Card that I currently have, that's with Goldman Sachs, may move over to Chase, but again, that's not my doing. But I imagine I'm going to be locked out of Chase for quite some time. I have all the cards that I'll need, and again, I'll link a video showcasing each Chase card that I have right. I lumped all the other banks and credit unions I have together. So I'll just say, maybe I have, 6 other banks that I do business with from a credit card perspective. I have 8 total cards there and just under $92,000 of credit limit across those smaller banks, credit unions, etc., that I maybe only have 1 or 2 cards with. Um, I think the only thing that I want to talk about before closing out this video is the US Bank Altitude Reserve credit card. All right, the US Bank Altitude Reserve. This card was discontinued just about, Q4 of 2024, but there's talk that this card may be coming back. Um, they have sent out notifications saying that there's going to be a lot of changes to this credit card and it's not going to be the card it once was. So just reading it before all these changes take place later this year, but $300 annual travel and dining credit, or dining credit each card member year. So what that means is you spend money either on airlines, hotels, etc., rental cars, or restaurants, and they reimburse you up until that $325 mark. And here's a listing of all the things here. Now, the card earns current day 3 points per dollar for mobile wallet spending, 3 points per dollar on eligible travel, and 5 points per dollar on their travel portal, etc., and then 1 point per dollar on everything else. Now, the reason I'm considering keeping this card is because of the priority pass benefit. Now, I've already told you I have like 13 priority pass cards in my portfolio at this point, but this one is a bit different because it allows you to still go into restaurants. So I get 8 visits per year to go into restaurants and spend the $56 up to 2 people on restaurants there. So I'm really deciding if I want to keep this credit card because there are going to be a lot of changes here in the latter half of 2025. So ultimately, I'm deciding for keeping this credit card primarily because the $400 annual fee, I'll get the $325 back via now instead. So in the future, it'll be in their travel portal. So very similar to my Venture X credit card, but I'll keep access to those priority pass restaurants. Is that critical, right? Do I actually need to go to priority pass restaurants? No. So if I do in fact cancel this credit card once my annual fee comes due in early 2026, I'll go ahead and keep my $400 in my bank account, or actually I'll transfer it out over to my brokerage account. And I'll extend my position in FZILX if I determine that I don't want this card and I want to save $400 in annual fees for 2026. Let me know if you all have any questions, any comments about the current portfolio that I have or the handful of cards that I plan to acquire here in 2025. Thank you so much for your time and look forward to the next one. Bye for now.